Iling. Oh, Fimo, that's fantastic. Oh, thank you, football. It's really nothing.
Oh, hello, Kaz.
See, man? I told you.
What is this?
Nuts.
Well, it's certainly,
No, man. That's
unique. It's a show called Adventure Time, a cartoon that began airing on Cartoon Network in 2010 and quickly garnered a huge fan base. In fact, it's probably the only show to actually rival the brony movement that's been going on nowadays. So obviously, being as popular as it is, merchandise would come out, and now we have an official retail video game released for the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo 3DS. Not being all too familiar with the show, I decided that I would watch a few episodes before I reviewed this game, so that I could get the basic premise. From what I watched, the show appears to be pretty decent. Nothing mind-blowing, certainly mind-boggling, but not bad at all. It's certainly a very odd show, and it's definitely not for everybody. It's like if that painter from Castle Crashers made a TV show. Oh, and here's a screwball for you. You have Starfire from Teen Titans and Bender the Offender from Futurama on the same show. I'm not even kidding. That's John DiMaggio as Jake and Hayley Welch as Princess Bubblegum. It just adds to the surrealism of this strange show. Seriously, whenever that dog talks, all I hear is this.
Yo, wait, they threw a basketball at my head one time. You gonna let that slide?
We only did that 'cause you're old.
Hey, bite my shiny metal ass!
Or I envision a kid being bludgeoned to death with a crowbar. Don't ask me why, I'm just really messed up, I guess. Anyway, while I did enjoy what episodes that I did watch, I have to say, Adventure Time really isn't my cup of tea, though I can see why a lot of people love this show. It has nice animation, the designs are eye-catching, and it can be downright hilarious at times. It's just a bit too weird for my liking. Then again, I'm speaking as someone whose generation grew up on cartoons about a sponge who lives in a pineapple under the sea, a kid who can bend air and ride a flying bison, and, this.
Yeah, Buttercup. Buttercup. Okay, stop. Buttercup.
Bottom line, the show is worth at least one viewing, but I think it goes without saying, it's really weird. So, when you have a show as strange as this, what better studio is there to get a game made for it than Wayforward Technologies? Now before you go nuts, I love Wayforward Technologies. They earned my approval a long time ago. For those of you who don't know, Wayforward Technologies was founded in 1990 and has quite the history with licensed games during the 16-bit era, giving them modest but largely unrecognized success. That is until 2002, when the studio partnered with Capcom to bring us some genie game called Shanty or Shanto or something, which earned both high marks from critics and even higher prices on eBay for copies since it sold so poorly. Nowadays, people know them for bringing us Contra 4, A Boy and His Blob, and of course, Shantae Risky's Revenge. But as good as their games are, well, they're also insane. I mean, they have a game where dogs are checkpoints, their mascot is a half-genie who lives in a lamp and fights pirates and black pirate midgets, and they made a game with a green French-speaking alien who can turn candy into planets and escape from a giant laser-shooting robot dinosaur with metal claws for hands. I could not make any of this up if I was on the most powerful narcotics known to man after an hour-long paint-huffing session. Regardless of their weird design choices, Wayforward has become a fan-favorite studio for their retro revamped gameplay and all-around well-made games. Even when they miss their mark, they're usually not too far off, and when their games do well, they do really well. 2011 was a great year for Wayforward with the release of the frantic and fun-money Switch Force, and the fan-pleasing Aliens Infestation. 2012, on the other hand, was not so kind, as was the case with the mixed reception of Double Dragon Neon and Silent Hill Book of Memories. Just Silent Hill Book of Memories, everyone. So that's two strikes that Wayforward's gotten this year. Does Adventure Time hit the ball out of the park, or has Wayforward struck themselves out this inning? Let's find out with Adventure Time for the 3DS. And no, I'm not saying the full title, Hey Ice Cream, Why'd You Steal Our Garbage? That title is ridiculously long. In fact, I'm giving this title a new name. This is Adventure Time Hikwisog. Let's get started. Well, the story certainly lives up to the title. It's time for an adventure as the Ice King has stolen Finn and Jake's trash, and they're off to get it back. Along the way, you'll see familiar faces from the show and interact with them in between dungeons, but they're not really focused on majorly in the plot. The writing feels like it's adapted from an episode in the show that never happened, which makes sense since it's written by the same writer as the show. At the same time, it still blends in that quirkiness of Wayforward that takes cheeky hits at classics like Symphony of the Night. Adventure Time fans will surely enjoy the jokes, and gamers will have a smile on their face with some of the sillier references. The story, if nothing else, is entertaining through and through. Though somebody answer me this. Why does the Ice King really want his garbage? He's a king. Couldn't he just get some garbage off a peasant or something? Or just look around the house? Secondly, of all the ideas that these adventurers don't get, why oh why do they not get it through their head to go to the Ice Realm first, where, you know, the Ice King is king of the place? I mean, what kind of illogical random world is this supposed to be?
자기야, 나 완전 중요한 할 말 있어. I am pregnant.
I'm puppies?
Right, moving on. Adventure Time has you exploring the world of Ooo from kingdom to kingdom in search of the Ice King. Many people have compared the game to Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, because of its overworld, as well as the change to side-scrolling, and the game is self-aware of its influence. However, I find that Adventure Time is more akin to Banjo-Kazooie. Aside from the obvious comparison of Jake also being an animal in a backpack like Kazooie, he also houses most of the abilities needed to progress throughout the game, and the ones the pair gained with each new dungeon and area, which also allows the pair to backtrack to old areas. Going back to the Zelda 2 comparison, random enemies spawn way less often, reward you with items when defeated, move more slowly on the overworld, and the game is nowhere near as teeth-gratingly hard as The Adventure of Link was, while still providing a challenge to young fans and veteran players, especially early on. Also, there's no tedious level grinding. Instead, you find stars to level up one of your various stats. One element it does share with Zelda 2 is that there's a wide variety of moves and items to use both inside and outside of combat. On the top screen, the adventuring takes place, while the bottom screen displays BMO for your map and inventory. Managing your inventory is simple and intuitive. You're given plenty of space to keep items, many of which I'm sure are from the show, and you can free up some slots by combining items for better results. Now naturally, being inspired by Zelda and Banjo-Kazooie, you spend a good amount of your time adventuring in dungeons. All the dungeons are fun to explore with a fair challenge to test your abilities, though the final one feels a bit simple, mainly because it doesn't introduce any new ideas, but it makes up for it with a boss battle so incredible, showing it would blow your mind, so that point is moot. Speaking of which, the bosses provide a great challenge and variety to the game that would fit right at home in a Zelda game. For as fun as it was going on this adventure though, there were a few minor problems that did start to bother me later in the game. Holding down to fall instead of most games where it's jumping down is a bit awkward, but considering the massive amount of moves you have, it's not hard to see why they chose to do that. Also, for the most part, when you're not exploring the dungeons, you have no clue where to go. But, again, it is called Adventure Time, so hey, get adventuring! It's also a pretty short game at around 5 hours, but to be fair, it's not the full retail price of $40. Besides, I'd rather have a game be short and sweet than tedious and tasteless, like Not only that, but once you beat the game, there's even a second quest to go through, which sounds very familiar for some reason, but I can't quite put my finger on why. Not being a fan of the show and strictly talking about this from a game perspective, I had a lot of fun exploring the lands of Ooo. The short length can admittedly be a big turnoff, so for those of you looking for a meatier experience, this is probably not going to be for you, and you will end up disappointed. However, for the rest of you looking just for a great game in general, Adventure Time A Ice King, why is the title so damn long, is a treat. It's classic Wayforward taking classic gameplay, putting their own twist on it, and making a modern classic. It may be a short adventure, but by the party god, is this a great one. We're nearing the end, so you know what time it is. It's presentation time! Now, if there are two things Wayforward is known for, it's capturing an old school gameplay vibe while mixing things up, and beautiful art design. And with all honesty, the show's visuals lend themselves to games surprisingly and neatly. The colors in various environments, the odd and creative character design, it all works really well and looks even better with buttery smooth and fluid animation that's simply marvelous. There's something to be said when a game wants to make you look at their still animations. The overworld map is a bit more simplistic, but it carries an old school RPG charm that's simply irresistible. The artwork is great too, expressive for the main characters, but vibrant and a joy to look at for every one of the characters. Jake Kaufman also does his great usual composition for Adventure Time, which has some fantastic and upbeat music that carries an old school vibe and a catchy melody. Even the cheesy songs have their own appeal, and they fit in with the tone of the region. Also, I just love the sound it makes when you level up. You have to listen to it, it's awesome. Man, I love it. Voice work is there. Not much to say. The voice actors do their brief voiceovers, the sound quality is a bit compressed, but it works. In the end, it's a really great looking and sounding title that continues Wayforward's record of excellent presentation. In my last review, we took a look at another game based off a cartoon, and between the two, Adventure Time is the superior. Not only that, but as an action title, it's solid, And as a license game, it's one of the best out there. Heck, I put it with DuckTales on the NES and Astro Boy Mega Factor on the Game Boy Advance among the best licensed games of all time. Adventure Time on the 3DS fully earns an 8.5 out of 10. And I know that there are going to be naysayers who are going to simply dismiss this title simply because it's an Adventure Time title and because it has Adventure Time slapped onto it. To those naysayers, if you're not a fan of it, if you hate this series, if you actively despise every single thing that the series stands for, that's fine. That's your opinion. But give this game a chance. This is one adventure you're going to enjoy embarking on. So, until next time, game on, my friends. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, subscribe. After all, it's free. If you didn't like what you saw, subscribe anyway, because you get free pancakes or something. I don't know, I'll figure something out. If you want to see more videos, click on the links right over there. Say, Roxy, do you know what time it is? Almost time for Mega Man's 25th anniversary? Yes, now get in the bed! Oh. Well, tune in next time, everybody.